Hi everyone, now this is bronze mallard. Well, this is as you can see here, not very well marked, small, don't have a lot of colour on it. Saying that, there's one or two, that's a reasonable feather, that one, there's a bigger one here, that's a good feather actually. But basically I would put these to the side. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dye this cinnamon. So one or two, see like this one here for instance, if you look at it, it's got just a wee touch of the light, but what this is a bronze mallard feather. It's coming from the same area, it's just not well marked, and you get a lot of that. So what I normally do, just like these, I dye them, and a few colours I dye them. And one of my favourite colours is actually cinnamon from Vineyards. Just a light cinnamon. So I'm going to be dyeing it quickly. So there's another good feather. Jeez, I'm not looking through these as good as I see. The ones I want to dye, I mean, that feather's not too bad. It's near the tips quite nice, but it's got nothing down here. So I'm tell you what, I'm just going to dye it. I'll leave that one there. Like for instance, this one. This is a nice long feather. It's got this nice bronze mallard type. If you were looking for it to be a good bronze mallard, anyway, you would have these would be perfect for a wing. But these are pale. There's no colour in them though. They can use them. I mean, you can use them in other flies, but it's ideal for dyeing. These are perfect for dyeing. So I usually bag these up and have them separate while I'm going through the main packs for the better feathers. I mean, there's one or two feathers not worth dyeing. That one definitely not worth dyeing. But anyway, I usually say like this one. It's probably, I'll keep it in because it's quite. This is a nice fibre. So it is. This here makes a nice wing. So there'll be another feather like it in there. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a wee touch of fairy liquid in this. It's another nice feather. That one's not too bad as a bronze mallard. But anyway, I'm going to fairy liquid, warm water, give them a good wash, and basically rinse them out in warm water. And then I usually just, you can take the feathers, the best maybe to take the feathers out, put the dye in, and then put them back in and dye them. And there's quite a few there. Cinnamon's actually, the dyed cinnamon, you'll see it when it's finished, but I'll show you. But anyway, I'm going to give them a good wash, and it's always because you're off a duck. I mean, it's a good feather. Nothing wrong with that one, but I'll dye it anyway because just to have it. I'm just going to throw this other one in. So I've got a good pair. You don't lose the colour too much. It just enhances. It means you can use the whole feather. I mean, there's parts of the feather. That's mallard flank. That's different feather altogether. But these are all from the bronze mallard area. Another one of those big feathers. Anyway, I'll show you what it's like. I'm going to give them a wash. It's very liquid. Take all the grease and the oils off it, any dirt, and then I'll be able to dye it. I'll just stick in the water, make it warm. We'll get the fairy liquid and just lightly put it on. Get the feathers nice and wet, and then give them a good wash. That should be enough. Just give them a good wash. Get some started. Don't need to do it too long. Basically, these are nice and clean, these feathers anyway, so just getting the oils, the duck, natural oil that the duck puts on these feathers is obviously going to stop the dye taking if you don't give them a wee wash. So anyway, that should be enough. So that should do it. Now to basically get the feathers out the pot, this is a splash guard for the frying pan. It basically stops any oil splatting onto the the cooker. So I buy these. They're not dear, just to siphon the feathers out the water. Some all out, that's fine. This is, believe it or not, this is an old pot I use just for this purpose, just for dyeing. Now, you can just leave that now till you're ready for obviously the dye. Now, you don't need to do any more, just leave it to the side. You don't need to rinse it even either. I'm just going to give the pot a wee rinse there. And then I'm going to put hot water in it, boiling. I'm going to boil the kettle. And then I'll put in about maybe, I don't know, a litre of water anyway, just to have some water in it. And then we can add the dye. Now that should be enough. That should, for the dye. Now, I'm using Vineyard cinnamon dye. Now, as you can see, I've got quite a lot here. Now, you don't need a huge amount. You can see this is a tablespoon. There's how much I'm putting on it. You can see that. And then it's just a matter of putting it in. Just make sure it's dissolved. Now when you're dyeing materials, it's just, how can I put it? You could measure it down to the single grain if you want, but I've always just guesstimate. It's just a guess. So anyway, there we are. That's the dye ready to add the feathers in. Now here's my feathers. Just going to put them all in. Now I'm going to use this colander, is what you call it, to rinse the feathers, or just to wash them out once I've dyed them. Now, first thing I'm going to do is just make sure these feathers are soaked through in the dye inside. And then once I'm happy, I'm bringing it to the boil. Once it starts to boil, then I'll actually add the vinegar to set the dye. Doesn't take long. Now, looking good so far. Now what I'm going to do is add some vinegar. And then I will obviously stop it boiling. So I've got to give it time to heat back up, but I'm going to make sure it's mixed into the dye. You can see the feathers are starting to take the colour. Doesn't take long. I mean, you're talking minutes. You'll see the nice colour there. What I look for is when you can see the dye is actually coming out, the water is practically gone. Okay, that's it. Now you have just to rinse them out. So we take it over to the sink, run the cold water, and then I usually just pour it through the colander. There we are, there's the feathers there, all dyed. There's no dye, the dye's all in the feathers. It was really easy to dye. And then just squeeze the water out it as best you can. And then I'm going to place them in a towel, an old towel that I keep, any old towels, keep a hold of them. Never throw them away, keep them for doing this anyway. Now we've got the towel here, switch the cooker off. So basically, just set them on and then press them. Take the water out it. And then I'm going to put them back into the pot once I've dried the pot, and then I'll dry them in the pot, so I'll show you how to do that. Now this is the feathers I've just dyed, and they're damp obviously just after the drying them with the towel. So the first thing I'd usually do is open them out a wee bit. So I do, and then this is the same sort of the splash guard, and then we get the hairdryer. We just blow it through just to dry the feathers. And you see how long that takes, doesn't take long. Well, they're not exactly dry yet, but they're near enough. You can see this lovely colour you get. So that's a nice feather. Let's get this cinnamon up, and I'll try and find one of the, well, there's one of the darker feathers. Now that was basically looking like it was black. It's got a nice brown silver colour. This one's quite light, but the one's just got a wee touch of the, like I was saying, with the bronze mallard near the tips. And you want a wee bit extra. There's one there. It's a lovely feather. So you've got all these feathers that normally you wouldn't have time for, you can use. And use it in other patterns, and cinnamon is a great colour. In any fly there's lots of cinnamon coloured wings. As I say, it doesn't take long. There's one of that was probably the big grey feather I did. It's got a nice colour to it. So there's one with a bit of bronze mallard. This is probably one of the other ones. You can see now that the colour goes, instead of being grey right up to the tips, and you've only that wee short bit, now you've got a full feather that you could use. You could use it further down. You've still got the bronze mallard, but you've still, at the same time, you've got this extra colour, and that's why you dye it. There's another one. That's a nice wee feather as well. Let's see, these nice feathers. There's, see that curl. Just put your nail on the back of the stem, run it up and down. You can flatten it, but you can do this. It kind of opens up the feather. makes it easier to use. There we go, folks. That's how I use up all the waste feathers in the bronze mallard. Good way of using them up. And it's feathers you would probably not so much throw away, but they are bronze mallard feathers coming from that area anyway. Give you the same sort of idea when you're using it. These feathers, that's stuff there you definitely when they're used. And but now it's certainly worth using. But anyway, there's one of the better feathers. Again, you just run your finger, tap it like this. Your nail. Just on the stem. It opens the feather out a bit better. Gives you a nice bronze mallard. Or cinnamon mallard now, but the tips have got the perfect colour. So there you go, folks. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and again, thanks for watching. It's a CDC feather.